Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Lab 20 podcast. The name is the same, Dennis Iman. And in the pleasure of Mr. Pierre today, one of those rare late night, not like early night recordings, because with schedules, we always get people that are always busy, and to just schedule for a meeting Masana and Chanchani, it's not that easy. So we managed to get hold of this guy who we have been chasing at least for weeks. Can you sit down?
I hope I've not been hard to get.
No. I think you have been one of the people that actually said, no, I'll come. Yeah. And then Zimango food cause of Timojin.
Sure.
But within a week, we're here sitting down.
Yeah, sure.
And for those that are familiar with the face, you already know who the gentleman is. But for those of you who are not, his real name is Urunji Mezuwa. Correct. Yeah, but I know there are a lot of people that have now started seeing your face, following you, and they know you as Ada Dog. We'll start there.
All right.
We'll start there.
Great.
Where did Ada Dog come from? But I know you know the story and what that means.
Okay, fine. It started out of nothing, but it's connected to something. So I got enrolled for a PhD program.
Okay.
Around the same time that there was this Namadingo Pempero.
Oh, the honorary doctorate things going on.
So at first it was not Dalk. It was not as DALK.
Yeah.
At first I was calling myself Dalk as in DOC. Because I was just trying to play banter with people to say I'm the real Dalk. Yeah. So that was I think a year or two ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just hold on. Pierre. Yeah. Yeah. I noticed. I just wanted to cool down the room.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have the remote.
No, just switch it off completely because the weather is still it's cold already. So yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So there was this whole doctor's thing situation that was all over.
Got enrolled, got admitted into a PhD program. So I was just positioning it to say Namadingo and Pemperompande issue, and then I was coming in with some Facebook banter to say I'm Dalk. Then because I haven't gotten the PhD yet, and I didn't want to, I didn't want to be caught off guard by using the name Dalk itself. So I thought of how do I use the same name Dalk but then in another way. So I saw a certain comment on Facebook, someone was trying to give it a slang to say dark. Then I said,
I think that slang also came from Namadingo as well, because the way he was mentioning the word dog wasn't dog as in it was like a dark.
Dark, you know? So I was like, I think this sounds good. So I took the dark side. But now with how Facebook, you cannot put, I don't know, I'm not that tech conversant, but how you don't just put a name without surname. I think it takes some, I don't know you guys, but I think
it's usually just pages. If it's like just a proper page. Yeah. But if you're starting from your personal account, which has become now a
page.
Yeah, which is what's called profile.
Professional profile.
Professional profile.
Yeah, sure.
It still needs to have.
Something.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm Tonga, right? And proudly so. And then I said, let me just put Ada. Ada as in
Ada Bwana.
That's Ada Dog. Then it seems like it's a cliche thing. It's a cliche word, and taking it as a cliche as well. But I fully own it now.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Good thing that we have started from there, because I think I know you from way back.
Sure.
Yeah, we haven't yet sat down, have a conversation. Exactly. We have met in a cafe. You're working. That's when I knew, that's serious. Because we used to meet by Tune.
I remember that time. You got a fresh memory.
Yeah. So you're always busy working there and coming by. I was like, I think I'm just serious. So it makes sense that you said you enrolled for a PhD, because when you but you did a school, it's very serious work.
I think that time I was doing my master's. I was doing my master's. It was around 2018, 18, 19?
Yes, around 18, 19.
So that time I was lighting my thesis. So trying to run away from home environment.
With
used
the
to meet at
kids.
uni at Area 49.
Yes.
I really remember. Then eventually we had to meet through Tana. Used to come to your place, have a chat and all that. So pleasure to be here, my guy.
No. It's good that we can sit down and talk.
Yeah.
The thing is, per social media, there's all these things that go on, and I know I've sat in some places where people are discussing you, and I'm like, oh, okay, which Urunji is this? Or some will just call you, that brother, I hope Mezuwa.
Actually, when I was coming here, because I got a bit lost, I went into the other room. Then I met one of your colleagues.
Yeah.
And then he goes like, Max and Sherry. I'm like, no, I'm not Max and Sherry. Yesterday I was at Aero Lounge.
Yeah.
Most people called me Max and Sherry. So I think there's that confusion. I don't know.
Exactly. I think you should be wearing this one. Let's make this Kajibewa your signature. So we differentiate you between Hope and Urunji.
Sure.
Because if you don't have your anything on, people are used to.
Because same board, we're all board-headed. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'm a bit short.
A bit short then. But if you haven't seen Hope physically you think
it's Hope.
Yeah,
exactly.
It takes somebody who has actually seen him closely and he knows you to differentiate the two of you.
You're very right. But of course, I'm more handsome than him. so it's easy to differentiate in those aspects.
And anyway, Team Vagwa Hope. All right, cool.
Yeah.
So one of the things, there's a lot that you do on social media. And I think that's, for me, one thing that I'm very interested in. Because I get to know some of these things based on your posts.
Sure.
And I would want to take it from that angle first of how you have been able to use social media to actually advance some of these things that you do, which is business. And there's family life. You and the Hope that we're talking about here, your family, and the way you interact. For some people, they've always been like, some people, but then for somebody who knows how to utilize these media platforms, they know how you have been very instrumental in helping to push the Max and Cherry brand, for example, but also your personal brands, you and your brother Hope. I got to know Hope because of you in the first place. Every time you were saying something, I was like, who is this Hope?
This guy?
And then I started reading a lot of Hope's posts before Max and Sherry, his stories and everything. I was like, oh wow, okay. Why did you find social media as a platform where you can utilize for all these things?
A very good question, Dennis. I think everyone knows that markets have changed. We're going from hawkers to phone. Like literally, there's this fine motor skill that has been developed that you can't spend quite some few minutes without touching your phone if you're not busy. So the phone is the new grocery. The phone is a new supermarket. The phone is a new showroom. I think social media gives us a platform to market things almost for free, but also to gain traction, because customers, unlike in the old when customers used to walk into a shop to get something, but on social media you interact with a customer, so you're able to respond to certain questions that customers have and all that. So the dynamism that comes with social media is the one that drove me into settling down to say, I'm gonna create my business around this space, because you know better than I do that this whole social media movement has created employment. It has created a lot of opportunities for people. Even musicians, talk of different people in the creative world, they have used social media to their advantage. So for me, it's about getting traction. And talk about the banter that I have with my brother. It's more of, you have 100 plus followers, I have maybe 50,000 followers, But there are some people that follow you, but they don't follow me.
Exactly.
So how do we get people to follow? So we have mutual followership.
Yeah.
And in creating mutual followership, we just found ourselves in doing this banter, and it has worked to our advantage because, hey, dude, we sell. Hope sells, I sell, and when I sell big, and I believe in selling. So I believe in volumes. So you know that I own a few businesses, agro dealership, and we've been selling through social media platforms. Actually, tell you this, when I was starting my agro dealership business, I told my guys, that the one that I was working with, to say, don't mind, I just want a loom. I don't mind where it's going to be. So it was like, but we need a location, a good location, something that is a front office. And all that. But I told him, no, we're going to go digital. We're going to go digital marketing. Our followers are going to know where we are because we are present on social media. We are present on social media. Unlike having a shop and then you're not present on social media. People don't know where you are. Yeah, so pretty much that is it, and it has worked well. So that's how we've used social media to our advantage, and I still like it because every day you gain new customers. It's like you're putting people in your space, it's in your constituency. So that when you speak, when you put something like a status, whether it's just something that people can laugh at, but it still has memory. It creates a memory in their life. Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Having followed you, and one of those things that actually gotten me very interested to like keep checking is the banter with Hope. Okay, that aside, your use of sense of humor.
Yeah.
Like there are very, very rare moments where you post and your tone is like very serious. I don't know if there's been even that, like, no matter what, if you're talking politics, you're talking governance, you're talking sports, everything for you comes with a
touch of
humor.
Yeah.
Why do you find it really you should use humor more when even you are advancing very serious or professionally aligned things on social media?
Okay, I'll tell you this. If I say I'm selling a bag of rice at 50,000 kwacha, please buy from me, and then I say, Kodi nyompungai. It's about which one attracts your attention. So I use humor to attract people's attention. That's why when you see that sometimes usually when I write a post, it usually comes at the end, so that you lead the serious part first, then I crack you, so that it gets more likes, and call it what, algorithms?
Yeah.
So
the more there's interaction, comments, likes,
the more
reactions.
it remains on your timeline, the more it remains on someone's
timeline. So even their friends have got a chance to see
exactly, and they will follow you. And that's what I've honed all that. So basically, I don't know if I'm flattering, but basically, I love laughter. I love my game. Of course, people who know me maybe from college way back, they'll say, yo, you used to be quiet, which is true. I used to be quiet, but I think it was just deliberate. But in me, those that have been closer to me, they will know that I love throwing banter, and I don't catch feelings when banter. So that's why you find that maybe, especially, I would marry current affairs, and and create something out of it. So it just boom. It's maybe I'm taking a bath, and then I think, oh, can I post this? Then I post. Then it gains traction, 1,000 likes, and all that. So that's how I've used cleverly social media to gain more traction.
And that has been working for you.
No, Dennis, I'll tell you what. At first I was just a professional guy. I was working in the government at the time, and I was just a typical civil servant that and when I started doing business, especially the farming part, I saw growth, personal growth. My finances grew, not to my desirable, or not to where I desired to be, but my finances grew. Then I said, this thing is working. Yeah. So some people think I am just a childish guy. Of course I am.
So, no, you are, but then you have mentioned several instances where I've met.
Yeah.
Okay, you were doing school, so I didn't, but then I've met in several spaces with Tana and like that.
Yeah, sure.
But I've always seen you as this very kind of reserved guy.
Yeah, sure.
We would talk men before phone. Yeah. But even if you have a phone, I go on a bag, I win the phone. It would be like, hey. But when you're in that
bowling, a bit bowling. You see, the time I remember the time I came to your place, like when I came to visit Tana and we're chilling. So I should say, I take it as I'm good with interacting with people the way I am with you right now, but I don't know how to sustain conversations. Like, I wouldn't be talking about one thing or be rude to one conversation.
Like for an hour.
No. That's not me. So I like, they call it stinks.
Yeah.
Like, I like stinks, and then move to another thing. So I'm like that. So I usually quarrel back. I'm not a very outgoing person. I interact with people, but I don't attach so much. So maybe that's why you see that. But guy is a bit reserved. But when it comes to social media, so because I quarrel, I'm in my own space. The only thing that I can interact with
is there's these people that are actually there. You don't see, and there are like too many things going on, so you're not even attached to it.
Exactly. Imaginary audience.
Yeah.
I love imaginary audience than the real audience. Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Perfect. There are several things that you personally like to post about, share about, talk about, sometimes stand for.
Yeah.
One of them is Mighty Wanderers. Every time there's a Mighty Wanderers game, if I want to find out the results, I was lost, but I just want to go. Okay, let me go laugh at something to do with Mighty Wanderers, or if Bullets is on the receiving side of some beating or some misfortune,
which I love.
I'll go for a page. My game Bullets. I went up and what's the banter like from the Nomads camp, which we won against Bullets, because also I'm a Nomad.
Oh, okay, makes two of us. Good.
And there are things like politicians that you vouch for every time. I know Honorable Mumba. You understand there are all these funny things that happen, and I laugh sometimes when I read the post. How do you balance some of these things? You know, some people take these things very seriously.
True.
Mainly things like football. There's banter, but serious when you are like and also politics. Even also just people that you choose to say, no, I stand for Wagud.
Yeah.
I don't care about Enan. Who is this? There's one that okay, let's give this example. I'll remember the other people that you actually like talking about.
I get what you're trying to say. So I love Wonders, to be honest, but I don't love it the way people think I do, because I'm objective when it comes to these things. I know that sometimes you lose, sometimes you win. But I like inflicting pain when it comes to soccer and politics. I like inflicting pain on those that are on the other side. But that does not mean that I hate people or I hate other voices. No, I'm very open when it comes to that. Actually, you should know, whenever I go for a football, whenever I go to watch football, let's say maybe Bullets is playing Wanderers or Bullets is playing Silver at the stadium, I'll usually be with my Bullets counterpart. Like, I like it when I'm with someone
that you can argue with, not just
exactly. You see, so but because I love banter, because I love it when someone suffers, quote unquote, because of politics of football, and I take the game to them. So that's it. But I know there's another section of the society that hates banter or that sarcasm.
Does not understand, I think.
Exactly.
So. I think it's the lack of understanding.
Yeah.
Whatever is happening here, it's just banter. This is
banter.
sarcasm. It's not like...
Exactly.
Yeah.
They don't have that fifth sense, that is a sense of humor. And for me, even when someone says, okay, unless I will do wana, something that, for example, let's say Mumba, talk about Mumba. Let's say Mumba Mwina, with Mumba it has been, he wins certain battles
and he loses some
battles. Yeah. So when someone comes to maybe to tag me on something that Mumba has lost, it pains me in a good way that how do I find a way of making sure that I defend myself? I also defend Mumba. But I understand that we have a landscape in Malawi, and we cannot all be on one side, because if we're on one side, it's not going to balance up. A seesaw balances up because there's equal weight both sides. You need a balanced society. You need a society that has a voice of reason. So I'm not saying that people like Mumba are perfect. I'm not saying teams like Wanderers are perfect, but it just takes which side of the pitch you are. Some of us, maybe we may support Honorable Vitumbiko Mumba because of our interactions with him, but maybe I haven't interacted much with, for example,
Chorela.
You get Pierre. Yeah, I don't even know how he looks like. Chorela, Honorable Chorela, much respect for him. I think he's a great man wherever he is. And whatever happened about Chorela and Mumba does not mean that Chorela is a bad person. No, it's just like this is politics.
Exactly.
To catch feelings. So, but maybe Chorela, if I can have a conversation with Chorela the same way I've had a conversation with Mumba,
you'd grow to like him.
I'll grow to like him. Maybe I'll like his ideas, but I've just not been accorded the opportunity to interact with Chorela. But I've interacted with Mumba and I've seen an ocean of wisdom that he's carrying. So that's why maybe I vouch for him. And that is genuine in that case. That is genuine. I really feel like he's a great man. You should have him on your podcast.
Yeah, we talked. We talked sometime.
Great.
Yeah, I think he had posted something to do with indigenization of businesses.
Yeah. And I actually... you had posted earlier before him.
Yes. There was something that I had written. So we had interaction. So it's like, no, can we? Yeah, and I'm in touch. I want to sit down on several things.
Yeah, sure.
I like the way he thinks.
Yeah.
One of the things that I want to dive deep is from what was delivered at the public lecture.
Yeah.
There are a lot of things that we haven't yet unpacked. That was a lecture, but then. That for me, that thought pattern is something that needs to be unpacked,
exactly,
and repackaged. Even for now, the common man on the ground. But if it ends on that lecture, we might miss a lot. So I want to hear from him based on maybe my understanding of understanding Antuena,
sure,
and also what even Mbwisen say.
Yeah, sure.
How does it tally into our development as a country, and how can we embrace that? I know from that, which is the funny thing that happens all the time with us. I don't know who us is in this case. The only thing that I saw trending a lot from that thing was where Mbuyiseni talked about Bushiri. This was a whole hour's lecture. You listen to that, you get a lot of people, but all of us, most of us, what we thought we can So I feel like there's an opportunity that we can unpack with him and other people that love to delve into those type of conversations.
No, I feel like your space, your PES Lab 20 is a great space to get the conversation going and ask real questions. You're not protected. You're not protective in terms of questions.
No.
So that's a good, and I think he's gonna come.
I'm looking forward to that. I know he has been very busy, so I knew I wouldn't say, bwana tikale basi, all this Zaku constituencies, all these things going on with the situation.
Yeah.
But I know once he has time, we'll sit down and and talk.
No, great.
Sure. Yeah. So talking about development and all that, one angle that I like most about the things that you post on social media is how you're pushing business and the development conversations, trying to spin people's minds.
Sure.
But we're here for social interactions. But every other post that you make has got a call to action to let's do business.
Sure.
I'm selling A, B, and C.
Sure.
There's this that I'm trying to bring out to you. How can we come together and all that?
Yeah.
You started your agro business.
Yeah, sure.
And I've seen, because for me, I think business, my business ringapo, or I've helped few people promote my business out, mainly using the social media platforms.
Yeah.
And whenever a customer comes, gets something, and you're able to appreciate them for coming to buy, and you post, put in a good word for even what they do.
Yeah, sure.
Encourages and I think we can do business with this guy.
Yeah, sure.
And I've seen you do that. Like you said, I can't point. Goji. And who is this? I don't know if it's my wife when we're passing by there.
Yeah.
Somebody's always like, Urunji. I think these people see this with Goji. And then they keep checking with it. Farms Urunji. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Why? How you have promoted your business and whatnot?
Yeah.
What could you tell somebody who is on social media, which is different?
Yeah, true.
And people think no, there are not opportunities. So my opportunities are go on the data.
Yeah.
Either they're being paid by some people to go and back everything that politicians say. So Kayama to my airtimes and whatnot. They're making money. It's a paper post. It's a way of them getting money. But with everything else that is there, you promote your own business, but you also promote other people's businesses.
Yeah, sure, true.
What do you think and who? I mean, I'm going to interact. Mainly those that are looking for something to do, to use these platforms profitably.
Yeah, sure.
Can learn from what you have been able to do.
All right. No, a good question, Dennis. So, as I said, followership is everything. I was talking to someone yesterday. He was like, you know what? We were discussing the same things about social media, and he was like, people will create a page and say it's a business page, and say like my page. You like their page? Maybe they're selling, for example, shoes. You like their page? They take a year to post on that page. So for me, I was like, you're right. If you are creating a business, you try your best to gain followers because you're creating a constituency. And these people, it's like you're inviting people to your home and then you're not offering them food. You see, they're going to go out frustrated.
They'll leave so they can look for...
Exactly. So if you're inviting people to your wedding or a function, you make sure that they get the best out of it. And you create spaces whereby, I like what Hope did. He says he has created safe space for everyone. So for me, I'm like, okay, create a product. You have a product or you have a service. Make sure that you attract people into that. When you attract them, convince them that you are the best. Convince them that what you are offering has value and command a market share. Command a market share to an extent that whenever people say, I want something, they should say, exactly. You see, I'm not a psychologist, but, or what do you call them? I'm not a psychologist, but I understand that memory works like it works in layers. What you remember more what you are exposed to more.
Exactly.
So if you take, that's why my guys are marketing. That's why you see Airtel, every 5 minutes there's an Airtel ad on
somewhere on radio, on TV.
Exactly.
Or if even physically you see
billboards. You're traveling. So someone says, why do these telecommunication companies put papolo ordinary rose lamunseu uje ni yoka. Because where you're going fast, and the images that you're seeing, you can't necessarily pay attention to one. But if I put one image museo moja, that memory has been erased. But if I go, then I see another one. It creates layers. So it's building on top of the other. Each billboard is building on top of the other. Now, it means it will take you time to erase all this memory that you have been. For example, if you're traveling from airport, ukafika ku BICC.
Yes.
If you see Airtel, it means you're creating layers of information in your head. And even if you go 5 minutes, you peel off one layer, it's still Airtel.
There's still something that is. Yeah.
It's still Airtel. So consistency and repetition in marketing makes the more you repeat something, the more it creates a solid thing in the mind. So the same thing is what I've tried to use to say, okay, talk to people more about your product. That's why you say every day I'm talking about Nuwa. And you see what I've done? People say
it's crazy that I've heard Nuwa word from your page. And in my brain, if somebody asks me about
Nuwa, what do we say?
No, if somebody just asks me about beans, like okay, I say Nuwa.
Bohori. Bohori is a Tumbuka word, but some people, they didn't know Bohori is a Tumbuka word. They say, what is Bohori? And the mbatata. So Bohori. Mpaka nikakumwambia Mr. Bohori gani bana? Ayo ndamango kulisha Bohori za gomeneo. So you have created to some people as they see Bohori when they see me. I used to sell fish, modula.
Yes.
So there's a lady who said, huyu ama grisa somba zake modula. So it's layers. You work on the psychology to make sure that every day people should associate you with that. I think it has worked for politicians. Yeah, I don't want to mention names, but it has worked for politicians.
I think it's one thing that politicians understand, and because they understand, exactly. If we don't know, but because and we just get used to it.
Even what they are doing is repetition. Repetition is in marketing. Repetition is big. I think I haven't studied marketing, but I think even those that go for marketing courses, they will tell you that the more you repeat it, the more it sinks in the subconscious. You're creating layers. Yeah.
Okay. One of the stories that I remember, like, got a lot of interactions and whatnot. You were sharing the story of this guy who was based in South Africa, and he had decided he would come back here in Malawi to do onion farming.
Yeah, sure.
Tell me about that story.
Oh yeah.
Tell me about that story and why you decided. I think let me share this story. Were you anticipating the type of reception that it got, and how do you think that story has actually helped you, but also the people that have had interest in the thing that you do, of which farming is one. On top of that?
No, Dennis, you see, I was sitting at home, then I saw, you see, you should know better than I do, that when you have a huge following, there are some messages that you don't respond to.
Exactly.
People come to your inbox. I've had people asking me, Kodi chimanga chabu nachozala nthawi ino ndichani? And I wish I could respond. I have all the time to respond, but I can't just respond. You see? So this time around I was sitting at home. Then I saw a message of someone who was saying, he wrote a very lengthy message. Then what I got from there was that this guy left Malawi for South Africa a long time ago. Then, COVID came in South. Then I think he was working for the Azungu. Then he got he got off the job. Like he found himself no longer working. Then he kept some few savings, not much, but he decided to come back home. And when he came back home, he was hit because he had to pay school fees for kids here, get settled and all that. Then he decided to do farming. So he did onion in Mzuzu. So since he came back, he's coming back, he thought he's going to go back to South,
Okay.
when the situation normalizes. But guess what? He started farming, he started pig gully, goats and whatever, then onion. Then he realized that I'm making more money than the money that I was making in South Africa. But also, being a foreigner in South Africa, South Africa.
You don't have the freedom.
They don't have the freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone who is outside, guys, I don't know, but everyone who is outside, they wish they were in Malawi. Only that maybe there are no much opportunities around here.
That's true. And there's a guy who was just speaking about the same. He's in China.
Yeah.
It's just Zulu, I think. He posted a video yesterday in the morning. Dr. Patrick Nesta Bande is in China. He's a doctor, but he's been there for years and years. So he was just explaining with him.
Yeah.
We here, we struggle. Yeah. Actually, for you to get settled. Yeah. And this is somebody who has done first degree, second degree, master's, PhD in China. And he's telling you, it's not as lost as you think because
my wife is outside, so she's in the UK, and I was chatting with her, and then she said, depression is real. She tells me that, what do you mean? Are you depressed? She says, no, I'm not, but I can easily get into depression. What do you mean? I said, there's no, here, okay, if you dress well, there's no one who is going to be looking at you. Or you just tell you the way we do here. You see, and I was like, I think you're right, because people out there, they're so individualistic. But when you go, you can't just leave your home without boy. You see,
everybody will be looking at you and talking.
You see, so and also there's this whole thing about how do you're working, and where are you investing your money? You need to be closer to where you're investing your money. So this guy, going back to what we're saying, so this guy said, you know what, I'm getting a life here. And in South, I wasn't like this. So it took COVID to have him realize his purpose in life. And that post helped him a lot, because he sold all the onion, and he has been supplying. I remember there was a lady, there's Ilala Lodge in Mzuzu. Yeah, so a lady, the lady from Ilala Lodge, I think she's Mimi. Mimi called me and said, Urunji, I need this guy to be supplying onions at our place. Wow. And she got that, and she supplied the onions at the lodge. So that was really inspirational, and I'm glad that I played the role in making sure that his business goes up. Yeah, sure.
Okay. Now to your other issues. There's the Farming with Urunji initiative, which you started, was that last year?
No,
the year before?
The year before.
2023.
2023.
One of the things that you did was calling on different people to join you in those different farming activities or initiatives that are there. We know about Mapoli Zambili, of which I was talking about the same, I think, a few weeks ago. There's this Ngongole Zanif, zili hapo. Kuli agricultural commercialization hapo. Then there's trade programs here. And then we have also all these other banks. I think Standard Bank has got irrigation and renewable energy project where you can and you have called on people, whoever feels like they want to invest in farming and whatnot. There's rice, then there's the Nuwa seed, beans. What firstly prompted you, why don't I start this where I bring people together, we do these trainings and whatnot? And also, how has been the response like?
Oh, well, let me first of all start on a pitch note. We are harvesting our rice this weekend, and we are projecting around 2,000 bags of rice. 2,000 bags? Okay. So, Dennis, you see, you help yourself first before you ask for help. No one screams for help when they don't see the need for it. So for me, when I started farming with Urunji, I said there are a number of things under farming with Urunji. Even the agro leadership is under farming with Urunji. Then I said, okay, there's a lot of interest. What I can call the agriculture agribusiness boom. Everyone is interested. Actually, 2 years ago, people were taking soya. People were taking pictures in their soya fields, and the soya failed. Everyone now started.
Soya, not soya. You didn't see any pictures of soya. Farming season, I didn't see people.
Maybe at home jump with some soya. So everyone is interested in farming. I think because you know what the president of African Development Bank said. He said the future billionaires are farmers. And young people must invest what?
In farming.
And those are not just mean words. They look simple words. They look like a cliche, something like conference proceeding. Yeah. But they are strong words. Because Aliko Dangote is now into farming. He's doing rice. Let's get home. People like Tom Pinganjira, they have Ekaya. Ekaya is built on a farm. Like Ekaya Farms is farming. You see? So what I said was, I don't want. I brought a team of experts. Guys, I have this vision. We agreed. Yeah, this looks good. Okay. Then there was an issue of financing. Which that's why we miss it. Because people feel like if you want to invest, because ours was an 80 million investment, people think 10 TMB concept not, which I don't say it's bad. Good. But in AO, I have a different take altogether. I feel like those guys are supposed to come and hunt for you. You see, these development partners and whatever, they love attribution.
Exactly.
Now, they want to work with people that are working. Now, if we thought, let's commingle funds. Let's prove a concept that we can get to bits and pieces of money from each one of us and invest. In our mind, we'll be creating an ecosystem. We are self-reliant. Only at the point when we are struggling, that's when we can call SOS. That's when we can hit SOS to save ourselves. We started this thing, but Zatifuta, can you please come? And they will come. They'll come because they are interested in results. They don't want to be associated with failures. So for us, we have proved. This year we have proved it. I'm sure you're gonna see it. I mean, next week, this weekend as we harvest, you're gonna see it that we have proved. We have proved that it is possible to work. We have not met major challenges, and we're not calling for any help right now, because what we're doing is that we're doing this for 2 years initially. What we invested in is going to be pumped back to increase the scale. So that we can have a lot of rice next year and target the export market, because there's always there's a market for this thing. So that's what I thought. Most people feel which is not bad in itself, but before NIF, have you considered talking to your friend? Before NIF, have you considered talking to your cousin? Can we pull money together? I know there's this thing at Amapondana, but you can put safeguards. You can code on it. You can put some. What we did was we had when I had visioned this thing, I called on an agriculturist. By the way, I did not do agriculture. I went to Bunda, but I did not do agriculture.
What did you do? I know I was going to ask you as concluding.
I'm not an agriculturist by profession, but an agriculturist by passion, because I did nutrition. Yes, at Bunda, second year, you are introduced to crop production, livestock production, but they're just 6 months courses. Kumano, I did nutrition. So I realized my shortfalls. There are certain things, for example, the guy, shout out to Gideon Zumani, a very intelligent guy. That's the guy that is brains behind the technicals of this thing. So this guy, we wake him up at the middle of the night and you tell him what pesticides in terms of concentration should we apply to ABCD. He will tell you things like he will tell you the active ingredient. He will tell you he's just technically savvy. You know what I mean? So I brought him on board, a very good guy. Then I brought in an accountant, a chartered accountant for that matter, Christopher Chilambo. Shout out to him as well. A very intelligent young man, and he knows figures and he doesn't forget any figure. And then I brought in an investment guy. So he's in South Africa. He's maybe 20 years older than me, but I brought him as a father to the venture because he could bring us all together.
Yeah.
Then I also brought him as someone who has invested. He has worked for Unilever Africa. He has been a business consultant for quite some time. Then I brought in a tax person, Blaston. Then I brought in a very good guy. For the sake of time, I may not mention everyone. And also to add color and also to make sure that everything is okay, I brought in Dr. Selina Capondela, a very intelligent lady from the Mzuzu University. Yeah, so we did that, and then we brought management. So we had spent nights and nights talking about how we can envision this. Then I was coming in for the sake of now communications and public outlook altogether. So we brought a team that Sungai Ibele Ndalama. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Because people say, why? Because you get your friend, you know their behaviors. Grain fertilizer hanzi, you know? So you have to bring in someone who can check on you. No, dude. Yes, you're the visionary, but you're going in another direction. Yeah, so that's what we did. Then, apart from this management, that's how we started recruiting people. Now, people that can invest into this thing. So it has worked on very well. We are the summit. Can't complain. The newer seed multiplication, same concept but different in terms of approach. Bringing people together. I'm a seed multiplier, so I cannot multiply seed on my own. It requires huge investment. Yeah. So I said, okay, why can't I recruit farmers? There are people that are interested, and I go for urban farmers. I don't go for local farmers because they have less capacity. So why can't I recruit urban farmers? I recruited urban farmers. Then these guys now, they grow the seed, not on my behalf, but on their own behalf, because they're using their own resources. But now when they harvest, we aggregate. Then we aggregate, we get certified, then we sell the seed as a group. So I'm a group person in terms of farming. Not because you had asked me at first, I said I retract. Yeah. But when it comes to farming, I'm a group person. So that has worked for me.
How easy is that, or how difficult is it? Because like you kept saying, and that's one thing that I can say is my personal experience, just watching people or also trying to come together with people to work on something. Yeah. There's always something that's gonna happen because money has come. Yeah. And for you to actually bring together this type of team, how hard or how easy was it for you?
I was not like I say. Okay. Let's not put like outside of this because it's also been a question of like komaso. Third eye. When you meet a person, you know that this is
he's like this.
Interesting, but you know, a few things like, for example, I'll tell you, Dennis, a few things like when you get to meet people in town, and you're the one who has paid for the meal today. Then come tomorrow, you're also paying for the meal. You know that about mutualism. Mutualism. I'm not saying you should demand equal. Komano, mfano look sharp, sama soa. Mfano look sharp, amaziko. Mfano and are authentic, and genuine and legit, and tipangana is zotega. So it's harmonious. Yes, some people it's also about the safeguards. Like if we registered everything, we have a bank account that is even today. If I want to pull out $1 million, I can't because there are people who have to approve every transaction. So lucky yes, komaso katheda ikaja kama zafunika kuti uone kuti mfano look sharp ndio mfano kuti so look sharp ndio, and then you know people that you feel like they are time wasters, you leave them. Yeah, don't spend time because you don't swallow a brick hoping it will turn into a blade when it gets into the stomach. People are difficult to change when it comes to money. Yeah.
Okay. It's I think it's a very, very tough conversation because when you look at all these opportunities, and for me, I feel like opportunities wana nthawi zambiri timadandaula kuti akupita kwa anthu omwe because one of the biggest things that you created your own capacity and you are going to use that capacity and you leverage that to talk to other people now. I mean, in agricultural commercialization because you want to buy tractors and stuff like that, things like those. But a lot of people, we are thinking of agriculture kwambiri still the way our fathers and mothers thought of agriculture. Aliyesafuna kafamu kake ngono. But I don't think that's the direction that we need to be taking as a country. And you have spoken about this, and you spoke about this in relation to the AIP. You voiced out your concern that I think this is not helping this country and whatnot. But from my observation, and how many identity capacities they can become big, like the people that have been able to pull urban farmers. One, in knowledge, two, my resources are now. It's just an issue to me. My priorities are trying investment. We choose to go buy iPhone 16 Pro Max today. Upgrade from iPhone 15 when you could have chosen to invest that in agriculture and see how the process 2-3 years down the line will be like. But then has no options. All he has is the land.
True.
So land ilinayo kaya the customer land, and that's how it is. My resources, even access to information, the internet, and the government thinks feels how many.
Sure.
What do you think needs to be done now for us to not just speak? This AIP thing that is happening here is not working. For us to be food secure, for us to actually develop an export market for our agricultural produce. Tipange bwanji.
Okay. Dennis, I'll be very simple on that. I hate AIP. Regardless of who is listening to this, I hate AIP because AIP is a vehicle to poverty. I have a typical example that I can give you that shows. Okay, you may choose to generalize or not to generalize it, but where I do farming, there is a guy who year in, year out receives free subsidized inputs. And he will receive them, he will sell them. And I know where he sells these things. And the guys that he sells to has been improving every year. EAO, the one who sells, has been working in our farms. Maganyo. But every year he's a beneficiary of
the AIP program.
But who is benefiting?
It's the other guy.
The other guy is the same community, and the akumagula fertilizer kwa guys ori
alandira
AIP. And here we akumagulayo year in, year out akupanga money. And I can literally see guri moyo wake I think he bought a diner. Is it Toyota? Diner. This year. Fertilizer amtenga uriko kwa guys
AIP.
Why is it that the intended beneficiary is not improving his life, but the secondary beneficiary who is doing dubiously is improving? Meaning to say, you don't need to invest your resources. Capacity, like what you've said. He doesn't have the capacity. Even if I limit a lorry, he's not going to have, because mfana wote andi capacity amapanga soil testing before he does fertilizer. Because fertilizer application, you cannot just be applying haphazard. And you know Malawi, this is what I realized. You know, you know what they say? 2-8. You know why? 2 is minimum. You can do 8 bags of fertilizer in an acre. Wash it away, basil, the top dressing. You can do 4 basil You can do 4 top dressing, and your yield is going to be maybe 4 or 5 times more than mfano 2. Koma anthu ankaja 2 chifukwa choti yani 2 chifukwa choti that was minimum recommendation. Ndi anthu anatenga 2 ja it has been carried over.
Basis
head mentality. There's been the mentality such that if you go for 4 on an acre, even anthu ozala aja odo ali mbaganya kudabo kuti muchapelezwa mbili. No, so mbili. It's about plant nutrition. So what I'm trying to say is that AIP should be this is my recommendation. AIP should be get down with. Or what you need to do is you need to identify progressive farmers. Amena ndi kuthekera kota khoza kulima kwambiri, because these people akalima ndamene ashipangise they'll have a lot of maize flooding the market. And
so even kunsika ujeni the farm get prices aja will be
and AIP is just a conduit through some resources by the polity bro. I have no regret to say this, but it's just a way of channeling resources out of government. Kaya ankapanga kaya ndi boma lapita lija kaya ndi boma lino kaya ndi boma limene kubweralo, koma ineyo I have no fear of contradiction on this one. It should get done with AIP. Komanso, why are you so focused on maize only?
That's one thing that I wanted to actually ask you, Guti. You have been pushing all these farming initiatives, but I don't usually hear you push for the maize production. You're always talking about beans production. We are livestock here and there. Then the rice is like the one thing that you say, can we do this?
Dennis, numbers, figures don't lie. Here's the thing. Maize ngatineyo kulima kwanga. I do maize so that my farm workers are currently chakuja, and not necessarily doing maize kuti ndigulise. I'm not saying we should not be doing maize. We can't do maize. Come on, let me tell you one thing. Export potential, maize, the rice. If you put them on the same scale, rice will earn you more dollars. I have calls from Botswana. My guys amanimbira phone from choko Botswana amana azori tufuna mpunga. Meaning to say the rice from Malawi is liked.
Exactly.
Because of the photo period and all that, where we're seated or where Malawi is more favorable for rice production. Now, why can't you focus your attention on the much needed forex? And why don't you turn the attention here from maize? You educate people, they'll say you can get other meals apart from being maize based.
Rice.
So I was saying, if you put maize on the same table with rice and then you ask a foreigner which one, Uganda doesn't grow maize. Okay, they grow maize for livestock. You see? And they export a lot. But rice is the common staple in the world. So you need to refocus as Malawians. We have plenty of like the Bwanje Valley. It sits idle. In the capital Mangosha, I usually work in Mangosha. I see lots of land sitting idle. I'm like, and if we have proved the concept, if you my guide 26, Nalima 30 hectares.
Where's your origin?
In Katabe. Yes. Nalima 30 hectares. Tipo my guide 26. Everyone was contributing 2 million on a minimum and 10 million on a max. And we have proved that it's possible for 26 people to produce something that can be eaten or can be exported and be eaten by maybe more than 100 people in a year. If you look at the food budget projections at Malawi, we have contributed, not much, but we have contributed. So if 26 people can contribute, already 0.001%, 26 people. What about government, which has resources, which has the mechanization and all that, which has the machinery? So what I'm trying to say is that my plea is that tisamango yankula, let's refocus and look at export products. You see? Yeah.
Okay. I have a problem. I have a problem with how we have left the government basically to use maize as their tool, because basically we use hunger as a tool for campaign, and it's like we've told people the thing that is going to end hunger is production of maize.
Yeah.
Of which I have also a feeling that if we're able to export more,
Yes.
we'll have a lot of alternatives.
Yeah,
and
sure.
basically, we can let people just sit there and all they're looking for is where's the maize. If they're able to produce,
Yes.
And I don't think as a nutritionist you'd agree that
we can be
maize would end hunger.
No.
Because when you say hunger, you're malnourished of other nutrients.
Exactly.
Which maize cannot provide. It doesn't have enough.
Exactly.
So
You
you
talk of-
need more. Do you know what alternatives are being?
Exactly.
Yeah, I had a question. I had a question last week over the weekend, I think. Oh, I was home alone.
Yeah.
So nabanga tea, napika mbatata.
Yeah.
Nubanga tea wa chidede.
Yes.
Yeah. So it was like around my 6.
Yeah.
Then I ate and I was full.
Yeah.
Then I just did my eggs.
Yeah.
Now I started thinking, but this could be even more nutritious.
Yeah.
My proteins, of
Yeah.
course, the mbatata is starch.
Yeah.
But mbatata, I fried potatoes with mazira.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, why do we always complain? But there's a lot of mbatata that is going to be flooding the market.
True.
But people will still be complaining. When we could have given these people alternatives.
Yeah.
Maybe let's just struggle to get mafuta ogazingira.
Yeah.
Now my question was, but to be honest, when did I start making a meal or purchasing a meal and I'm thinking nutrition, not kute as in kuti mimba wanga ndiko kuta ulinda kuta. Like when we are going to eat as Malawians, what are we thinking in our head?
Exactly.
I mean, is this I've gone to college.
Yeah, sure.
But most of the times when I eat, I'm thinking not what is going to contribute to my nutritional being as a human.
Like what you said. You see, Malawians, we are so obsessed with maize, such that, but our population is mostly deficient on a lot of IQ managed, IQ whatever. It's linked to nutrition.
Yes.
So there's hidden hunger. You are full, but you're hungry. It's called micronutrient malnutrition. Now, my guys, Timakara company bees and maize, and I think it has landed on our genes. That's why we are failing to let go. Because there's what is called gut microbiota. So whereby there's called nutrigenomics. So nutrigenomics is a study of the effect of nutrition on genes and the vice versa. So research has shown that overexposure to certain kinds of food creates another communication altogether, the gene communication. Like there's my genes are that's why you see, for example, coffee and coffee. You tend to wonder coffee
and actually, okay, so there are all these beautiful names that the coffee drink comes with. Cappuccino, Americano, espresso. So when you go into the restaurants, you need a cappuccino. Somebody say, okay, cappuccino, okay, cool. Espresso, Americano. When these things come, first taste,
what do they get in here? The thing is, you see, someone was saying, coffee, for example, if I go to Wimpy here, and they say coffee, I'm reading a novel, coffee, it looks that's down. But in certain parts of the world, even if you sugar, so as if you deprive them of coffee, they will kill you.
Literally.
They will literally kill you.
Literally.
So so those studies have taken place. There's
a relationship or there's a communication between food and genes.
Such that it's now when you can see what is the new generation, because of the being individual bachelor kind of thing.
It's tedious for you to stay so you go for other alternatives.
Exactly.
Spaghetti.
Exactly, like what you did over the weekend.
But look at my father or your uncle who grew up sima ndi anthu achonena kabwera manazoti sitinaje mwawapasa chips. Now it will take a lot of education and exposure. The more you're exposed, the more you start taking the sima out of it. I know that people are going to say okabe wedoko ukatozoti samaje sima koma generally because diets drive production. You cannot talk about production without diets.
Exactly.
So politicians, my professor in college used to say maize is a political commodity. That's why it attracts a lot of attention. So politicians, they just use what
works.
What works.
It's proven.
Exactly.
So why should we change
exactly
what's already working?
the same way they use football to attract people, the same way they use
but over every constituency, every area
there's a bonanza. There's a bonanza because they know that if this is what people the majority of the people, they love this. You piggyback, so they piggyback on it to gain more votes. So they piggybacked on maize. That's why it's called a political commodity. So they piggybacked on maize and they are stuck on maize, right? But we need to diversify. We need to go into other products. Soya and tumalima or tumalima. If you go into the homes and ask them, how many of you do have soya? Most of us don't have.
No.
We do it as a cash crop.
I personally, I know we used to have a lot of soya in our homes. Quite many when we were growing up. And now it makes sense because my mom also did nutrition.
Oh, nice.
So we had all these small things that are bang. Majani mandasi soya.
Yes,
all these soya based like milk, soy milk at home, and I think that's how I interacted with soya.
Yeah.
It totally disappeared, and I don't think in other homes you would have soya.
Yeah, exactly. Soya just came in because kuna zatu ku India afuna soya olo nandolo.
Yeah, nandolo sana za
India afuna jago, then people got into it komano, not for own consumption. So there are those things that we need to work on and change our mindset so that we can make a killing out of it. Yeah.
Okay. Let's go back. I know this model that you have explained, it's one thing that I feel like we need to do a lot.
Yeah.
Now you guys have done it.
Yeah.
And you are harvesting very soon.
Sure.
What incentive do you think people need? So now I'm looking at this vehicle structure and
yeah.
You are calling for people now to come in and invest.
Yeah.
What incentive do you think a lot of young people need for them to actually say, okay, let me invest?
Yeah.
Because we are seeing as that but now everybody is afraid to go in alone somehow because it set up.
Yeah, sure.
Farming through relatives at
Yeah,
home.
yeah.
You hear all the stories. Farming period
Yeah.
Stories. For young people that at risk, I didn't get nagage. But remember we're talking about winter cropping. Yeah. What incentives should be put across this generation? Go to kumapeza kondarama.
Sure.
Tikavaya mayeromu.
Yeah.
Ama kugwetsa wina ma 2 hands one night. Wina ka weekend ka chamezoti fancy kugwetsa ndithu timwe. Isisi kwa watu banga invest bena bage. Waka bolela mwina chamu Zanzibar kana.
Exactly.
What should be put across? Could a lot of people should actually come on board?
I usually say farming is not a side hustle. Your job is. That's one of my taglines. What I mean by that is that the job market is shrinking. HSA.
Last week I've seen that.
Stadiums full.
Very pathetic situation.
You see, and what is also frustrating is that in the homes, farming is not discussed as a business. So, my thinking is that what I feel is working to incentivize, can attract people to attract people to farming is to create spaces where conversations are created, where conversations are made. You know, surprisingly, Dennis, you think people know when they don't know.
That has been my biggest disappointment with a lot of things. And
I have a friend, Daud Kaisi. I think we should interview him.
I think I followed him because of you.
Yeah.
I follow him on Facebook.
Kanga Farms.
Yes.
That guy is amazing. He's doing quite amazing stuff. He has a mixed farm in Salima. And you see, this guy, what he did was he created a group, and Holy Mambuz.
Okay.
He called it Timbuzike. That's the name of the thing, Timbuzike. Now, my guys, what they did was they were on a group here. On your birthday, they would gift you with mbuzi.
Okay.
And he's the godfather. Like he's creating that thing. That thing has grown big. I don't want to talk much about what external financial sources he has gotten, but he told me, he confided in me, he has gotten about 200 million to develop a goat breeding center in Salima. See, but he started as what? An individual. But look, he has grown with people. You know, there's something about Moraro, Mubanga Drive.
Yeah.
Someone did about Moraro.
Yeah.
If you when you post a picture of maybe what you're doing at the farm, hey, that Moraro,
drive now
to
to
do
like,
more.
okay.
Because you feel like you're living your dream. People like Daud Kaisi, they did the same. And I'm at individuals, they brought in people. Same thing as what we're doing. We started as individuals on a small scale, but then we brought people. So, group farming or kupanga zintu guru is the sole incentive that can take you somewhere. Unlike maybe saying, okay, talk about profits. Oh boy, $1. Sorry, Bwana George. I was saying, farming has money. You may fail. You may stumble, but that does not necessarily mean good fancy $1. I have a guy, Nazampanga Post. I met him last week in Inchinji. I'll not mention his name. He was working with UNICEF. Then contract ended, saved some money, about 30 million, took a loan from the bank, 50 million, had 80 million, invested in a farm when it was not fashionable, some 2-3 years ago. Zamega farm sana so these are serious. Invested 80 million, came out with 250 something million in terms of revenue. Now you do 80 minus 250, you get around 100 something. Then he told me that when I was with UNICEF, I was receiving about 3 million. So what it means is that he made, in one single year, he made what could have gotten maybe working for 10 years with UNICEF. Now you kill 10 years within 1 year. That I usually say, my guys they make our retirement packages. If I made my grand sheet of, our retirement packages are made by someone in one farming season. It's very easy to make one. It's very easy to make 50 million because there's just money. There's just money. So that alone should give you the drive to say, in what in Iran, you learn, you fail, but eventually you go big, and it starts small.
Was in also looking at the fact, which is what also the president of the African Development Bank said when he was talking about the future billionaires are going to be farmers. As far as the population is growing, we have got kids coming up.
Exactly.
And every day, and this is one fact I think that we should always have in our heads.
Yeah.
We're going to sleep. We're not going to sleep on an empty stomach.
No, you can't.
We are going to eat something.
I tell you what, from here, let me tell you my schedule. I'll buy chips. Chips, chicken.
Where are these things coming from?
From farmers somewhere. We know again my chicken is we know go
Exactly. Exactly.
And he who is able to provide us with food.
Yeah.
We make money.
Exactly.
Now, even in that sense, okay, you're not thinking of making money, but you're thinking of saving at least some money.
Yeah, sure.
What's better for you to keep buying these things than to keep business like a waker?
Exactly.
That you want a chicken, ungolo ankola, ndikupa, ziwiri zitatu usunga fridge, you want it, you put it.
Yeah.
So I also feel like there's no reason for us to do some form of agriculture, whether kind of subsistence, kind of big scale, as you're talking.
I recently posted the guy and his wife, I'm account 24. I love sharing their story because I feel like that's alternative living, which Malawian we have not engaged in alternative living. Outside farming, of course, what I mean by alternative living is, you see, we have grown up thinking kuti muntu ukamaliza school uyamba ntchito uzikakhala ku location 18
ku town locations and town. Basically that's all we have been chasing. If okay 30 years titiyambira chabwinobe mwina 60 years kuti why we are where we are is we fight the circumstances tipite kukakhala down.
We want to be socially fit. Tipange fit into. We feel like it's a puzzle. You fit somehow. So we've grown up. We're scrambling for malo kushire. We're scrambling for malo because we are young people. We cannot talk about AR12. But we're scrambling for malo 18. Bed sitters and all that. This guy, my friend, the friend of mine. Shout out to him, Shawa and Belinda. Yeah, that's the name. They were staying in area 24. Then they decided to refer to Wakaumos. So they went Kwadea. Kwadea is beyond 25. They built their house, their homestead. Mixed farm. They have everything grown on the farm, right? And they are living sustainably. They are learning away from consumerism. You cannot, guys, to be honest, you cannot be buying everything.
No.
It's not sustainable.
No,
you'll be complaining every day.
So what it means if you're buying everything, let's say you're buying your food, you're buying your transport to wherever you go. You are buying electricity, you're buying your water.
Yeah, sure.
That means how much are you earning? Because this is you. That means if you're saying you're buying, you're in Ramazo, ulinazo. Even Ramazo umazitenga kuti. How much do you have that you can keep buying this thing cycle?
And the more you buy, the more you buy. The more you buy, you get into a cycle of consumerism. That's why I'm sure I got. But because we're just hungry for buying. These guys, I tell you. And for me, it changed my life. It changed the way I look at things. He says, you see Urunji, what I did when I came here. Adafika Mzuzu, umena ukala. Anaiga sola, anaiga chijo, anakumba nazi and Then he said, I want to massage. Another massage. Just a few. Carbon was good. He was like, so what's up with massage? Okay, here's what I do. Massage, it takes 3 months. Timatirira nde amakura nimalo oti panebe china chichose patineka massage ndeti makolola massage yacho instead of ife kugula massage timatenga massage yacho ndikumanga massage yacho ndikapanga pack kwina kwake ku stores sasha likata timakatenga yani it costs us nothing. Sasha it's free growing. You don't need fertilizer for a sasha.
No,
right? So it's alternative living, guys. You learn away from town. You go into the outskirts. If your own space, you grow your own mushroom. Imagine, and every day you're waking up to tend to those things. Your quality of life is also improved.
Exactly.
You're in your own space. So it's like the concept here, the Garden of Eden. Garden of Eden is about having abundance around you.
Around you, you don't have to you find everything. In your own space.
That's true.
Wow. Okay.
Sure.
I know this conversation can go on. We have already done over an hour. But one thing that I want us to also talk about is your life and the social impact, because I don't think I've had guests that sit here and they keep referring to Waguti. I posted about Waguti, like you know Waguti. That shows the social impact that you're creating.
Yeah.
This could be maybe through your presence on social media or just your interactions.
Yeah.
How important is it for us to actually be able to share successes, mainly, not just successes, but processes of mainly Ziza farming is?
Yeah.
Because one thing that I've also heard is a common cliche: farming is not for everyone. Farming can kill you. You can die. Because it's a fact. You don't think you don't just because ulindinda ndalama zina zake ndo kapeza malo bazi kutra kumene kubola waponya ko mchani. What needs to be done in sharing the processes and whatnot? And why is it important to actually be open enough to say, hey guys, this is we need to A, B, C, D for these things to actually move?
I like it the way you've put it, Kuti. Why is it important to go processes? In this day and age, learning, as I said, learning is mostly through what you see. People are not interested in classrooms. Classrooms are becoming, the walls of the classroom are becoming blocked down by social media. Now, not to lie to you, Dennis, you sometimes you share so that you enlighten people. Because the manners of the people, you think people know when they don't know. So even simple things. I have a lot of, if I show you in my phone, I have a lot of people coming. Even today, someone came and said, you remember that time you talked to me about onion farming? I've just harvested my onion and gulisa, and I'm making money out of it. I've never met them. They have just been seeing the seeds of the post that I've been making. And they are getting inspiration from that. So it's good to share processes. And even when you're failed, it's good to say, hey, ngini and the guy. You see, because you create another angle altogether. So it's very important to be sharing Kodi guys dibati. And in here, that's why every time I go to the field, I'll get videos. Right now, I'm doing ABCD. I say, guys, so that others can learn from that. So it's very important to share the processes and don't be economical with sharing knowledge with others. In here, I've seen it. You see how I've seen it? Nima muza munhuda say, ufunika NPK yetu. Izozo kubangaza, ufunika mankwala cypermethylene. Then he asked me, ulinaye kushobu? I said, yeah, and deny. And he buys from me. So
it also creates business, because if you had not shared or advised,
exactly. Exactly. Yeah. A guy, I should know him. I think should know him. A guy, I will not mention his name because he was representing an organization. A guy came to me and said, you need for social media. We want our organization to market. You should market our organization, and because they are doing agricultural products. And I thought, because sometimes I charge. Not sometimes, I do charge. At first I didn't charge. I was not charging, but these days when I want to market for someone, I charge. And I thought, maybe I wouldn't deliver 20,000. But tell you what, the bill went to around 1.4 million. Just me sharing product information. The guys say we're going to pay you 1.4 million. So you look, they are. If I was not a sharing person, I don't know if there's that English.
Yeah.
If I was not a sharing person, they couldn't have seen value in using me to share
information about their product.
Komano na gena dollar chifajodi my guys are now because I have people that
following in the first place.
Exactly. I'm even sure that Lab 20 Mutikapanga Premier
Yeah, exactly. We're getting new followers from you.
Getting new followers.
Yeah.
Those the people that don't know Lab.
Lab 20. Now they'll be like, who are these people?
Let me follow, subscribe, and all that. So it's good to share. That's why even in the research world, so I'm taking your time, in the research world, you cannot do a publication, you cannot write a research paper and not publish it.
And keep it to yourself. So how do you...
Exactly. You get a professorship because
you are
shared
publishing.
knowledge.
Yeah.
Published. So, but guys, I'm very economical with the knowledge. They're doing a disservice to themselves. They're not getting the credibility they deserve. You get what I mean? For you to get the credibility that you deserve, you need to share. You need to be... Sure.
Great. Actually, you just answered one question that I wanted to get from you.
Yeah.
If you have ever been paid to actually use your platform, which is what you have just said. So I think in conclusion, let's just do some quick questions and let's see how, okay, the first one was actually, you have highlighted businesses like Max and Cherry and few others. And I wanted to ask, do you actively support local entrepreneurs through your platform? Which you have explained, you have mentioned like a lot of people already.
Yeah.
And the other one was, have brands or organizations approached you for collaborations, which is what you just said. Controversy online. Have you ever received backlash that looked so serious from people for something that you've shared online? And what was that about?
I it's not one time. I've Dennis, you remember there was a time I used to be politically charged.
Yes.
I was defending a certain party kwambili. Panopa nasia. I took a political position stand. I said listen, it's gonna be me. And it's because this is general. I was lighting about something, and you see, the guys approached me physically. They came home.
Okay.
I was posting about a certain guy, political. They came home. I've not shared this with it's only my wife who knows.
Yeah.
Because I was afraid my family maybe is going to be
like,
concerned to why. They came home and knocked on my door, came out, and they said, you know what, we want to warn you. You speak a lot about politics, you speak a lot about our candidate, and it doesn't sit well with us. Otherwise, they will mean also with us. But I didn't stop.
Okay.
Yeah, I continued until I made a decision to retract from political posts and all that. Other backlashes, yes, I have received a lot of backlash. Just yesterday, I was talking about the HSA. Yeah, of course, it's not something big. Then I also got another one, Kamangira.
Yeah, Alexius
Kamangira.
Yeah.
I wrote about what he's doing. He's a great guy. I take nothing away from him. He's a good guy. But a lot about him, the way he's approaching these things. Then he took the screenshot of what I wrote, something like that. Then he posted on his page and said, "Nimadalia Sinodi."
I thought about that.
Yeah. So I'm fan of Sinodi.
Because that everyone was like, fan of Synod.
Yeah, like I see, my father was a Reverend for the Synod, and people attacked me. It was really okay. It was concerning because those around me were concerned about me, but in I was not concerned as a person because I even started writing banter on it.
Yeah.
I was like, every time I go to the field in Malawi, thank you, God of Robert Laws, trying to
bring in the synod aspect.
Thank you, God of William Coy, Mbangweni Mission, something like that. So that was some backlash. But sometimes I learn a few lessons. Sometimes there are people that you don't have to touch because at that period I'm a car good in pangolin. Yeah. So when you touch a pangolin, it
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Exactly. Because like who is a great guy now? Who is doing great now? who's trending and doing great?
I know Eugene Namadingo the dog because of Eugene zija pakati apa za ambulances and then the schools Eugene.
Exactly.
Yeah.
People's person or something. Or let's just say many analytic.
Mumba's been for some time now. Labor,
timtenge Mumba wa labor.
Yes.
Mumba wa labor uja, of course, because of I'm not saying Mumba hapa ndo foida, kwa maana Mumba wa labor uja. Nde iweyo Mumba uja alipa piki, iwende uzina zote adawa nena bangazi. Tamangisa my investors.
I think now you can tell.
So at certain periods, there are certain people who are pangolins. You don't have to touch them. That's what I learned. Let people, Malawi kuno mtu machuga for a small period. So let people live their fame. Then akapaka cool down, then you can bring in a voice of reason. Yeah, sure.
Okay. Any post that you ever regret to have made? Like, oh shit. Yeah, I know this is but how I did
I remember a specific post that I wrote that I regret posting. No, Dennis, I can't remember. It will take time, then I will drag this conversation.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. 2 of your favorite Malawian social media personalities and 2 of your favorite Malawian entrepreneurs. I'll give you the genuine entrepreneurs, then inspiring figures that you look towards in your space, which is agriculture.
Okay, fine.
So social media wise in general, 2 inspiring personalities or brands.
Okay. Hope Mezuwa, not as a brother, but I think he has grown something that he's grown it organically.
Yeah.
And he's doing great stuff in that space. So shout out to him. Another social media?
Social media,
yeah. Social media.
Could be a page, could be a person. Okay, Hope could be two faces. It could be Max and Sherry thing, but it's actually him who is behind. So
yeah. So I'm trying to think hard off my head quickly. Could Wina Kozokandani or the I know he's there, but okay, pass. Let me get back to that.
Okay.
The other one.
Business entrepreneurs that inspire you.
Entrepreneurs that inspire me. Okay. Oh wow. There's the guy I talked about. Daud guy is from Salima.
Yeah,
that's he's creative and he's great. So he's a future great person that I think Malawians are going to see him doing great things, especially in the space of agriculture. The other one take time as well. Yeah, sure. Okay. But personalities, Water Nyamirandu.
All right.
Yeah, I love Water. I've been inspired by him because he's been at the helm for quite some time.
Yeah.
And Hamakara, people have different reactions to that, but I feel like he's just a personality that I like. And Signage, he called me and I was over the moon. Like, I've never met him, but he just called me through his wife, and so I love Water.
Great. I think I've also had similar interaction with him. But of course, he was talking to Tana, but we were together, so we were on it was a video call.
Yeah.
We were waiting for a game, so we wanted to give him a friend's jersey.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he was a good guy, good chills, and
yeah, sure.
Okay, cool. So, in conclusion, this is one more question or your chance to inspire someone.
Yeah.
You're always selling very expensive fish.
Oh yeah.
But then when you post minutes on an hour later, so says Zabida. And I saw the same thing with Mpunga, and then I went, I'll quit some Mpunga. Can you inspire somebody about price dynamics?
Price dynamics, sure.
There's money. That's why the same chips and chicken sells differently. So tell us, inspire someone as something to close with.
So let me look them in the
camera.
All right. So you see, issue of pricing, price dynamics. Price does not just depend on the product. Price is a factor of many things. It's about convenience. Price is about package. Price is about who is selling you that thing. If Ronaldo gets this same bottle, and says, I'm selling this at 1 million kwacha, someone will buy. If I do the same, no one will buy. So that tells you that the same product, nothing has changed. It's the same product, but it's in different hands. So who is selling you that product? So for me, I feel like I have value. I don't dilute my value. So if I decide to sell something at a certain price, let me sell it, because I know that there are customers that will buy from me. So my products are not. I'm not necessarily saying my products are expensive, but my products are tailor-made to my customers. If you don't have money, don't buy my products. That's what I say. Those that have money and they see value in what I am selling, they'll buy my products. Yeah. So the secret is, it's not about just the product. You saw this.
Yes.
Mpunga usanunkhira ni mpunga ununkhira. Mpunga ununkhira 4,000. Mpunga usanunkhira 3,000. Ndakuti moti kuzona guys tikungolipira 1,000 So that's what I can say about price dynamics.
Perfect. Yeah. No, thank you so much, Urunji.
Pleasure.
It's been a pleasure sitting down with you and just getting into your mind and your thought, and also how you look at things. I'm very sure that this conversation is going to help a lot of people that just see you. And indeed, my perspective also based on how they've known you, how they've met you, and how they interact with content. So we cannot blame people for being on the other side or thinking otherwise, but we can accommodate people. And thank you so much that you do that with a smile on your face. Every post that you put there, I know, but I see the humor in it, and I think that's what compels a lot of people to keep following and to keep being inspired by what you do.
Thank you.
I wish you all the best with the farming with Urunji. I look forward to being part of this. I'm really considering agriculture as one of the things that I want to take seriously.
Sure.
And I'll be talking to you and just getting to know how you're doing whatever you're doing, and how we can be part of it.
No, my pleasure, Dennis. And I thank you, Pierre. Dennis, thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate. This is second podcast that I've attended, but the first one did not come out because there are some issues. The guy who was doing it, unfortunately, his things got stolen. So if this is going to be aired, this is going to be my first podcast out, and I feel like I think I've shared my story. No, it's an amazing story, and if they want part two, if you have any other questions that you think we missed, Urunji is around. He's always here. We should be able to invite him. Say, come. Whether you want to come join him, we could do a live session, questions and answer session. We can always do that with him. And actually, that's what we would also encourage you. If you have got anything that you think you want to put out there, we can do a live on your page here, sit down, bring other people that maybe have got questions you have worked with. For us, I think it's really trying to have conversations with real people. And if that conversation can change somebody's thinking and drive into the channel,
somebody has moved from where they are to another level. We are here for all of that.
Great.
So feel free to come through with any ideas that you have as far as content is concerned.
Yeah.
We can sit down and
No,
let's
thank you.
push this country forward together.
No, thank you, Dennis.
Sure,
It was
sure.
again pleasure, man.
Now, this is Dalk, Urunji, Mezuwa, and I am sure that you loved whatever he has shared. And make sure that you like, you have comments, drop your comment, share this with anyone that you think deserves or needs to hear this.
Yeah.
And until the next episode, my name has been Dennis. Thanks a lot to Mr. Pierre and also Mr. V, who is not here today, and all the other guys behind production who touched these things just on Aduruge, Mirago, Zikomo, and the whole Up 20 crew. From me to you, it's peace, and let's keep thinking farming and entrepreneurship.
Thank you.